I'm making this video to go over what I'm calling the New Age distribution system. And this is an idea I have for putting New Age music and books and other merchandise and content into the hands of anyone who wants to pay for that experience. And the concept is sort of born from this idea that uh, at least at some point in the past, and possibly in current times as well, um, there were outlets for the distribution of New Age material, ambient music, books on occult or paranormal subjects, and so on, for anyone willing to pay. And these outlet stores were usually small, independent, but they were able to tap into distributors who and wholesalers who gave them access to the material to stock these stores. And these stores existed, I would say, in California, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, New Mexico, so the western United States, and I suspect all over the USA and Western Europe as well, and possibly even in Eastern Europe. I think there is a question as to the role of physical brick and mortar stores selling this merchandise in the internet era. And there's also a question as to the identity and the kind of lifestyle that is appealing for the people who pay for this music and books and other content and merchandise. So, in a sense, what I'm describing here is sort of a boundary or a network or a ring or a chain of physical locations that serve as central, maybe not temples so much. If they were temples, they would be temples to the commodity cult, because these are commodities, in fact. Um, and I think the question is, how do you get new age merchandise and content into the hands of people willing to pay? And possibly even moreover, how do you fit that into sort of the larger mythology and lifestyle of the New Age movement? How do you sell this to people willing to listen and willing to experience this kind of uh, content? Uh, one of the questions I have is sort of, where do you go? Where do people meet up to find this sort of experience? And what sort of a context do people like? And I think it's important to sort of separate the social aspects from the business aspects, and to ask questions about what sort of businesses people enjoy patronizing. I think there's, generally speaking, sort of an anti-corporate philosophy that's held, and that's reflected in the, I would say, relative unwillingness of the patrons to be involved with major record labels, for example, or major publishing houses. And the thinking here is that these are people who see themselves as alternative or parallel to the mainstream, and not necessarily participating in the same kind of compromises that are made by the corporate mainstream culture machine. So this is sort of alternative culture. You could even, call it slow culture if you wanted to take a further or a hint from the slow food movement. Um, and you could even call it, I would say, sort of hippie culture. You could call this the counterculture. And the question I think in my mind is, what are the what are the physical locations and the virtual locations where these people feel comfortable spending money? And that's the primary question, because in my view there seems to be a talent surplus and a deficiency or scarcity of central organizing nodes where people can understand what products are being offered, how they fit into the mythology of the New Age movement, and basically giving people sort of a roadmap for the New Age movement, and giving them sort of a range of options for how they can interact if they want more to understand more of the business side or more of the social side. Um, this is sort of the thrust of this video, to understand where people sort of want to experience the New Age movement. And I'm calling this the New Age Distribution System, or NADS. And it's sort of an obviously male connotation, and nads being a reference to the penis and testicles of the male. Uh, the thinking here is that there is very much a demand for sort of organizing and kind of aligning the various New Age movements in countries all over the world. And in particular, I think there's an interest in opening up many countries that have historically not been particularly receptive to this sort of content, to go into, I would say, in many ways, restart the colonization and imperial colonization, except this time doing it from the point of view of offering people a alternative lifestyle, alternative thoughts, alternative ways of living, and using that as a kind of crowbar to pry these economies open and get these people thinking in more ways than one. So, for example, markets might include, first of all, it's worth pointing out, there are the traditional markets. I would describe them as including, I would say, Australia, New Zealand, all of Western Europe, parts of Eastern Europe, parts of Central Europe, and extending down through the Balkans, through Bulgaria, into Turkey, and from there into Central Asia. And sort of defining this kind of this sort of new Silk Road, or new kind of projection of culture is I would say it's certainly part of a push to sort of this globalization, and see the whole world as part of a global community, and then ask, well, where are we going to find niches that can be exploited? Where can we find cool, or sort of warm, moist, damp environments where mushrooms can thrive? And then going into those markets and asking basic questions about lifestyle and the kinds of message that people are willing to receive, and working from there.